send your stories in our Facebook page and be featured in our next videos. Link is in the description. The biting cold of winter had descended upon the remote wilderness of northern Canada. I, an adventurous soul, had always been drawn to the pristine beauty of the snow-covered forests, and so I embarked on a solo camping trip deep into the heart of the frozen woods. As I set up my campsite beside a frozen lake, the eerie silence of the winter wilderness surrounded me. The snow-capped trees seemed to whisper secrets, and I could feel the ancient spirits of the forest watching. Unbeknownst to me, this was Wendigo territory, a place haunted by the legend of the ravenous creature. Night fell quickly, and I huddled by my campfire, the flames dancing in the frigid air. That's when I heard it, a faint rustling in the nearby trees. I dismissed it as the wind until the rustling grew louder and more persistent, like the footsteps of a giant. Panic gripped me as I saw a towering, emaciated figure emerge from the shadows. Its limbs were unnaturally long, and its eyes glowed with a malevolent hunger. It was the Wendigo, a creature born of cannibalism and cursed to eternally crave human flesh. I fumbled for my flashlight and shone it upon the creature. The light revealed its gaunt, skeletal face, its long tongue licking its cracked lips. It let out a blood-curdling scream that echoed through the woods, chilling me to my core. Terrified, I grabbed my backpack and sprinted through the snow, my heart pounding in my chest. The Wendigo pursued me relentlessly, its inhuman speed closing the distance. I could feel its icy breath on my neck, and the stench of decay filled the air. Just as I felt the Wendigo's bony fingers brush against my back, I stumbled upon an ancient totem, adorned with animal bones and feathers. Desperation guided me, and I pressed my palm against the totem, chanting words I didn't understand. A blinding light erupted from the totem, and the Wendigo shrieked in agony, recoiling from the radiant energy. I seized the opportunity to escape, running until I could no longer hear its haunting cries. I made it back to civilization, but the encounter left me forever changed. I had narrowly escaped the Wendigo's curse, but the memory of that night still haunts my dreams, a reminder of the terrors that lurk in the heart of the winter wilderness. The winter storm had trapped me in a remote cabin nestled deep within the Canadian Rockies. I had come seeking solitude, but the relentless blizzard outside had cut me off from the world, and my isolation soon became a prison. As the days turned into weeks, my supplies dwindled, and desperation gnawed at me like a hungry beast. One night, as the wind howled through the trees, I heard a faint scratching at the cabin door. I dismissed it as the work of the storm until the scratching grew louder and more insistent. With trepidation, I approached the door and swung it open. To my horror, I found a skeletal figure, frozen and emaciated, huddled on the doorstep. It was a man, or at least it had once been. His eyes were vacant, and his skin clung to his bones like paper. Weakly, the man rasped, "Food, please, food." His voice was a hollow whisper, but his hunger was palpable. My instincts screamed at me to slam the door shut, but the compassion within me prevailed. I brought him inside, wrapping him in blankets and offering what little food I had left. As the man devoured the meager meal, I noticed something unsettling. His hunger seemed insatiable, and his eyes never left me. It was as though he craved something more than food, something darker and more sinister. Night after night, the storm raged on, and the man's hunger grew. He no longer resembled a human but a ravenous creature, his teeth sharp and elongated. He would whisper to me in the dead of night, promising me unimaginable power if I would give in to the same hunger that consumed him. I resisted his temptations, but I knew I couldn't keep him locked away forever. As the storm finally subsided, I made a desperate escape, leaving the cabin and the hunger-crazed man behind. Years have passed since that fateful encounter, but the memory of the man's insatiable hunger still haunts me. I can't help but wonder if he was a victim of the Wendigo curse, a reminder that in the unforgiving wilderness, even the most desperate hunger can unleash the darkest of horrors.